Hey everybody, coming to you live on a late Sunday night, doing nerdy teacher stuff. My semester one in virtual school went pretty well, but I definitely noticed that my teaching strategies were limited in comparison to what I would do in a brick and mortar classroom. So this semester, I'm trying to kind of start to create virtual representations or emulations of teaching strategies that I would use in my actual brick and mortar classroom. So one of them is the value line, right, where you'd have students kind of occupy a spot on an imaginary line in your classroom in relationship to some supposition or value statement. It's a great way to get conversation going. It's a great way to get students to reevaluate their positions and like move around on a line based on what they hear, based on their own evaluation of evidence and just thinking that's presented by other students. So it's pretty straightforward, but essentially what I've done here is just created the 0 to 10, given some rough approximation of other numbers on the line. And then I've created 32 dots. And the colors are replicated. We don't need 32 individual colors, but essentially, if we, by having multiple colors, it makes it a little bit more visually uh, readable. It's easier to digest, right? As opposed to having all the same color dot. And so you'll ask your students to essentially grab a dot and they can do that. This is set up. You can copy this slide, and all of these dots are individual. So they're individual items, which means that any of them can be moved, right? So there, I grabbed that one, I grabbed that one, I grabbed this red one, I grabbed this blue one. And you could do this anonymously. You could have people take positions anonymously just by moving dots. But more useful, I would say, is for someone to actually claim a dot. So if you take a dot and you just double click inside of it, you're actually able to write. You don't even need to create text box. You just double click inside one of the dots. So, here's Tom, and over here in this green dot is going to be Ashvin, and over here in this pink dot it's going to be Maya, and there you go, right? And now so Ashvin can take their dot, and let's say we were kind of discussing the value of grades. We were like 0 equals grades are super harmful to learning and get in the way, and 10 is that they are extremely necessary and very beneficial to student learning. So now Ashvin can place their dot wherever they feel their position lies on this value line. Ashvin doesn't like grades, so they're gonna come over here. Oh, there we go. Boom. Right, and Tom always gets A's, so he loves grades, and he's going to be all the way over here. And what's cool about this is that you can, whether you're above or below the line doesn't really matter. So there's enough space in the slide for students to really stack themselves up, right? Like, let's say Maya agrees with Ashvin, like she can just come down here and actually just connect, place her dot right there below Ashvin. So there's your quick and easy way to do a virtual value line. What's cool is that the value line itself is just part of the background, so it can't be messed with. Like the students can't like by mistake move it around. All they can do is move the dots. The only real like behavioral piece you'd have to think about for this virtual activity would be asking students not to move each other's dots. Depending on your class, usually I would say that wouldn't be an issue, but you might have like a grade 9 class where maybe some jokers are going to do that, but you can always kind of account for that in your instructions. Hopefully this is helpful and a useful tool. I'm going to try to make some more of these as we go throughout the semester, even if it's just a handful of them. I'll share them as I go. Peace.